Ed, can you, oh, you got it. That's my favorite part of Sunday morning, calling to order. Good morning, everybody. It is good to see you here this morning at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Harford County and at this very special service for all ages. I'm Kimberly Roberts, and my pronouns are she and her. Leading the service with me today is Jen Blosser, our Faith Formation youth, and all of you. We gather each Sunday morning on site and online to share in life's meaning, to grow in care and community, and to open our hearts and minds to the sacred truth known by many names. Unitarian Universalism is a religious tradition that values diversity and embraces the wisdom of all faiths. We use science, reason, and the gifts of the Spirit to explore life's meaning and mystery. In this tradition, we know that people need not think alike to love alike. Whatever your heritage, however your history, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. And now may the sounds of the bell and the music and words of our prelude center us as we enter into this time of worship.
We are part of this universe. We are in this universe. The universe is in us. Yes, the universe is in us. We are part of this universe. We are in this universe. The universe itself exists within us. We are part of this universe. We are in this universe. The universe is in us. Yes, the universe is in us.
Every atom in your body came from a star that exploded. You are all stardust. You are all stardust. From a star that exploded.
Look up at the night sky. We are part of it. The universe itself exists within us. We are stardust in the highest exalted way, called by the universe, reaching out to the universe. We are stardust in the highest exalted way, reaching out to the universe with these methods and tools of science.
Stand in the middle and enjoy everything both ways. The tininess of us, the enormity of the universe.
The atoms that make up the human body are traceable to the crucible that cooked light elements into heaviness. These stars went unstable in their later years and then exploded, scattering their enriched guts across the galaxy. Look up at the night sky. We are part of it. The universe itself exists within us. We are stardust in the highest exalted way, called by the universe, reaching out to the universe. We are stardust in the highest exalted way, reaching out to the universe with these methods and tools of science. We are stardust in the highest exalted way, in the highest, reaching out. The universe itself exists within us. Universe. We are in this universe. The universe is in us. Yes, the universe is in us.
Our call to worship this morning is a poem written by Joy Harjo, and it's called "The Fierce Magic Emerging Here." I can hear the sizzle of newborn stars and know anything of meaning, of the fierce magic emerging here. I am witness to flexible eternity, the evolving past, and I know we will live forever, as dust or breath in the face of stars, in the shifting patterns of winds. Please rise in body and spirit and join us for hymn 1051, We Are.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and the sons of great vision. We're sisters of mercy and brothers of love. We are lovers of life and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of age. We are grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are one.
For the wonder and inspiration we seek from sun and stars and all the lights of the heavens, we light this chalice.
For our story this morning, we have a dear friend, and I am going to need a volunteer to be the voice of Jimmy. Do I have a volunteer to be the voice of Jimmy? I'm going to do it if you don't. I'm just saying. All right. Oh, sorry. It's okay. I have more, so don't panic. There's more roles. Okay. So you can take this off if you want. Yeah. This is Jimmy. Everybody say, ooh. Ah. OMG. Jimmy McTop Hat. If you don't know who this is, find a child after service and ask them. They will tell you. All right. Put Jimmy on your head. You can do this. I believe in you. Look at that. Maybe. I'm there for it. You're going to take this. There you go. Thanks. All right. This is the most fun I've ever had with a story.
Just wait.
I'll give this back to you, I swear. Okay, so we have a series of questions. All right, Karen, since you raised your hand, you're going to be my first one. I will show you your question. Jimmy, your response. Okay, we're just going down the line. So this is your question.
Who am I in a town of 1,000 people?
Who are
You can set Jimmy down. If he's not cooperating, it's okay.
Who are you in a galaxy of 100 billion stars?
Can I get you to read for me? You are going to ask this question here.
Who am I in a world of 8.2 billion people?
Who are you in a cosmos of 2 trillion galaxies?
Will you please read it?
I'm just kidding. Joe. Who am I whose ancestors portrayed from their homeland, journeyed from their homeland.
Who are you whose ancestors crawled out of the sea?
Who am I whose ancestors learned to till the soil?
Who are you whose ancestors learned to breathe the air?
Who am I in a body made of mortal flesh?
Who are you as flesh made of immortal stardust?
Who am I with a heart yearning for community?
Who are you as the universe experiencing love?
Oh, thank you so much, Jimmy. You gave us less answers.
You know, I think your question.
Exactly. Here, you take that one.
Now is the time in our service to practice deep listening and open ourselves to the embrace of this community. A community made of carbon and stardust, dancing and praying our way through the universe, witnessing one another, and with this holy sunrise, committing to loving one another through the expressions of our joys and our sorrows. If you're in the sanctuary, please come up front to the microphone on my right. And if you're on here with us on Zoom, please share via the chat, and we will read what you'd like to share, and I'll light a candle for all of you. It's time to come on up. Would anyone like to share? Yeah.
So Jimmy McTophack's getting very philosophical these days. Such wonderful, wondering questions he offered us. Who are we in a galaxy of 100 billion stars? Who are we whose ancestors crawled out of the sea? Who are we as flesh made of immortal stardust? Immortal stardust. It sounds like science fiction, or something a Woodstock attendee might have uttered with half-closed eyes, swaying back and forth to the music. It hardly sounds like something sensible, scientifically minded, fact-checking, climate change-believing, logic-loving people might say. And yet, when we take a moment to really consider, it's not wrong. In a way, this sort of proves reincarnation, if you will, at least at an atomic level. Everything in the whole world is made of elements which were created long ago at the dawn of existence, and everything you see, everything you touch, everything you taste has technically been around forever. When living things die, their bodies decompose, and all the elements which were once seen as a unified being break apart, get absorbed into other organisms. Nothing in your body is new. It's all recycled stardust. And that's hard to wrap your head around, really, isn't it? So, we're going to take a moment to contemplate this dizzying fact before we move on. We're going to do this with a very simple ritual, featuring a simple chant. You'll see the words printed in your orders of service, but we can also put them up on the screen. The words are simply, we are made of stardust, every single atom, of carbon and of oxygen, calcium and iron, which is not an exhaustive list, because that would be a very long chant. So now this is a chant, so it has a tune. It's very gentle, it's very slow, it's very easy to learn, and I urge you as you sing it not to rush through it. Take your time, go slow, and sit with the meaning. I will sing it for you so that you can learn it. It goes thus. We are made of stardust, every single atom, of carbon and of oxygen, calcium and iron. You can do it. Ready? We are made of stardust, every single atom, of carbon and of oxygen, calcium and iron. You guys get gold stars all around. That was excellent. So in a moment, we will chant that together as we pass some sacred elements around. But first, we're going to bring out the elements. And I'm going to need 4 volunteers from the back table. Take your pick. 4. Let's go. Thank you. I believe in you. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of our elements, and then we're going to have our fabulous 4 self-prompted, self-motivated volunteers bring them around. So come forth, volunteers. Come on up here. There's no talking involved. That's 3. Uno más. Yeah, thank you. All right, just hang out. You're fine. Just chill. All right, so I do need to get behind you, though. I do apologize. Our first element was prepared this morning by my very dedicated partner. Is a very burnt piece of toast. Shockingly burnt piece of toast. Pretty humble and mundane, hardly seems like stardust, but bread is made from wheat, which is a plant, and plants are alive, and every living thing has carbon in it, and carbon was created inside the stars. When food is burned, the carbon inside it either evaporates as carbon dioxide or remains behind, as it has with this toast, as bitter black coating, which you secretly try to scrape off before you serve it to your guests. So when this piece of burnt toast comes around, go ahead and touch it, smell it, and reflect on the fact that the carbon you're observing on a burned bit of bread could have previously been inside an ancient tree long ago felled in a forgotten forest. Who will be my bread bearer? All right, just hang here for a second. Oxygen's next. Okay. Our next element is oxygen, which in its pure form is incredibly flammable and not advised to be passed around in a UU worship space. Open flame does not mix. So we will be representing oxygen with this balloon. Can anyone tell me why 21% is written on the balloon? Sandy? Bingo. So roughly, for anyone who would like a slightly lesser explanation, okay? The air you're breathing right now is about 21% oxygen. Got it? All right, cool. All right, so the rest of it's nitrogen, a few other gases mixed in for kicks, but that's 21% of the air that you suck into your lungs with each breath that your body needs to survive. It's that oxygen that's being passed around. So as this balloon comes around, give it a very gentle squeeze. Gentle. We don't want any surprise balloon pops, okay? Give it a very, very gentle squeeze. And consider that this is oxygen which has been breathed before. In fact, I am willing to guarantee you that at least part of the oxygen inside this balloon was previously breathed by an ankylosaurus as it roamed like Mesozoic Maryland. Dinosaur breath in here. I gotta get behind me. You're probably not wrong. All right, our next element is calcium, which we hear a lot about when we're young because we have to drink lots of milk because it grows strong bones because it has calcium, right? Yes. In fact, in our bodies, 99% of the calcium in our bodies is in our teeth and our bones. So if you take a moment to feel your teeth with your tongue, you are licking an element which was created as a result of an enormous supernova star explosion, and now it's in your mouth. So we are going to bring around for you this piece of moderately chewed on elk antler that my dog loves. It's naturally shed. No elks were harmed in the bringing of this antler to you. But antlers are in fact made of bone, unlike horn. And so if you give this a touch, you know that you are touching stardust, which may have once strengthened the bones of the long extinct American cheetah. You get to carry the antler. And finally, we have this little chunk of wrought iron that comes from a very, very old schoolhouse desk. This is iron, and you need metal like this in your body to live, but not quite like this. Please don't go munching on this. Iron is a crucial ingredient in hemoglobin, which, fun fact, is one of the most fun words to say out loud. And if you don't believe me, try it. Hemoglobin. It's satisfying. So hemoglobin is what allows our red blood cells to do what they need to do and transport oxygen to every part of our body. So you gotta have iron. It's also why blood has a semi-metallic taste and smell, which you know if you've ever bitten your cheek or your tongue really hard. So when this comes around to you, feel free to give it a rub with your fingers and smell that and see if it smells a little familiar, all right? So as these elements come around to you, thank you very much, hold on. As these elements come around to you and you admire them, consider the wondering questions of Jimmy the Wise and contemplate these gifts of the cosmos which are a part of your body, the stardust of which you're made. So we're going to begin our chant together here in just a second as our bears go round and just help ensure that these all get passed row to row. 2 of you could start here, 2 of you could start there. Sound good? There's, like we do the offering, hand it. I believe in everyone sitting in these rows that they can turn and hand it to the next person. We're good, all right? Let us chant. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We are made of stardust, every single atom, of carbon and of oxygen, calcium and iron. We are made of stardust, every single atom, of carbon and of oxygen, calcium and iron. We are made of every single atom. And bearers, as you finish, you can just bring them back up and plop them right back in the big box. Thank you.
Offering will go to support the UUA Disaster Relief Fund. Thankfully, UUs are hungering to give directly to the impacted areas from Hurricanes Helene and Milton. The Disaster Relief Fund is at the lowest level of available funds since UUA began this project in 2017. There's going to be a direct link to where you can donate if you're online on Zoom, so you can go right there and donate directly. And just in a moment, I'm going to be passing the baskets around to you.
So, why do we do Stardust Blessings at Pride? We've talked a lot this morning about this very big, expansive concept that we are like the universe reincarnate. And if you are familiar with what our congregants do when you volunteer at our Upper Chesapeake Bay Pride Festival, which happened last weekend, you'll know that we do something called a Stardust Blessing. We offer it to anyone who will stop at Pride. And it is, if you've done it, you know, it is super fun and very rewarding. But why Stardust at Pride? And the answer is simply that. Much like when astronauts go to space and they turn around and they look at the planet Earth as this teeny tiny little blue dot spinning in this great expanse, it makes them sort of realize, it makes them look at all of life very differently. If you've ever heard an interview or read an interview with an astronaut that's been to space, this is something that they commonly bring up. Because when you have been able to zoom the lens out on life that far, suddenly the world is a lot less about like taxes and going to school And it's a lot more about this incredible improbability of existence. And whether or not you have a preferred, story or myth or legend or book that explains this improbability of existence, or whether you really like the, just the mathematical improbability of it, it's still divine. Somehow, we are all alive on a little ball that goes hurtling around in space. Somehow, life came out of dust that was literally exploded out of stars. And when we zoom the lens that far out, we can really see love with a capital L. We can really understand that there is never an us and a them. We are literally made of all the same stuff. And so when we do Stardust Blessings of Pride, what we're saying is basically the biggest affirmation we can give to someone. You are made of stardust. You are whole, you are holy, you are good, and you are loved. Because the improbability of carbon and oxygen, calcium and iron coming together and figuring out how to be alive is incredible. And the fact that we are experiencing it is astounding. And these tiny, minuscule little differences between us, what could they possibly mean to interfere or cause some sort of disparity in how we can value each other? Stardust helps me, at least, understand love with a capital L. Because whoever I meet, I know that they are made of this cosmic reincarnation, that their existence here on this earth is just as magical as mine. And yeah, we all get caught up in the systems of our world, right? We all get caught up in trying to figure out what piece of homework we need to prioritize, because maybe we're not going to finish this all tonight, and some of it is going to have to get put off. Or figuring out how do we stretch our budget to accommodate this vacation we've wanted to take forever. Or, trying to figure out which house to buy, which car to buy. But at the end of the day, we are all part of something that is so much bigger than any of our little life stories. And so when we give out that affirmation, when we give out that blessing, we're really trying to reach beyond whatever might be happening in our day-to-day lives and affirm that magic, inherently holy, inherently divine piece of every person and validate the heck out of them. And I know that for myself, this, when Article 2 was being brought back up, when the Unitarian Universalist Association was looking at revising the Article 2 part of our bylaws and moving from principles into the values and covenants, when I first heard floated around that they wanted to say that love was at the center of all that we do, I got super excited. Because I was like, oh, now as a religious educator, I was like, oh, that's so teachable. I can teach that really easy. Because of course I'm going to think about first, how would this translate to a class with the young people? That's how it works in this brain. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it spoke in such a beautiful, deep way to me, and it made me think of stardust. It made me think of this deep, unmoldable truth, this constant truth, that we are divine and beautiful, however we are made real in this world. And that's love with a capital L. And I'm so grateful to be sharing that with you. And I know that if you've given a Stardust Blessing at UCB Pride, you've had a moment that has surprised you, where you've offered a blessing. You've been doing these a bunch. Your fingers are caked in glitter. You're tired. Maybe it was a little hot or a little too breezy. We've had both. The breezy is particularly difficult when you're dealing with glitter. But you have one person come forward for a blessing, and you say the words that you've already said 100 times today, and you watch that person's face well up with tears, and you see them struggle to listen to you. Not because what you're saying is difficult to understand or in any way hurtful, but because it's so deeply validating and impactful for them that they seem to have a hard time figuring out how to hold it. And as someone who can't take compliments ever, I understand that panic, but this is on a much deeper level. And you'll finish the blessing, and there'll be a pause, and then with, so much emotion in their voice, they will just ask, "Can I hug you?" And I have cried on people's shoulders at Pride. Because sometimes when we get caught up in all that life stuff, all the nitty-gritty of our adorable, cute little human existence, where we, are trying to make money and do jobs and, oh, yay, as we're hurtling around through space on a rock, as we get caught up in all of that, sometimes we just do not remember how divine we are, how miraculous this life is. And sharing in that moment with someone who so particularly needs to hear that blessing, to hear that affirmation, is the highest gift and the most powerful ministry. So I am very grateful for everyone who has helped to give out these Stardust Blessings. And I invite you all, as you move through your role in your adorable human existence, where we are all caught up on our little mundane things, to keep in mind the next time you burn toast, the next time you have to scrub rust off of some old piece of metal, the next time you're blowing up balloons or you just feel a particularly strong breeze, or the next time you are drinking milk or brushing your teeth to take care of your calcium. How improbable and miraculous it is that these things combined in you and in every single person you have ever known or ever will know, and how divine that is. And let yourself just get washed over for a moment with that magic of love with a capital L. And so, you better believe you're not getting out of here without some glitter. You are actually, if you're one of those people that's like, glitter, no, we have stickers, you're gonna be okay. Everybody breathe. We're going to share in what is the most beautiful moment perhaps of the service of our morning together. You're going to be invited to part in a Stardust Blessing, just as we do at Pride. We are going to have 3 Stardusters, myself, Kim, and Jersey, who will be up front here. And we will bless you individually or as a couple or as a family. We encourage family groups for the sake of time. And so in a minute, I'm going to invite you all to gather, sort of like in our center aisle, if you will. There will be the 3 of us up front. As one of us becomes available, come on up, right? It's just like when you do the identity check at the TSA line, but with glitter. So you'll come up front to an available Starduster. We will bless you, and you will then return to your seats. If it is not comfortable or convenient for you to move and come up front, fret not. Connor is our appointed youth Starduster, and he is a mobile Starduster. So he will come to you. So if you would prefer, just stay seated, flag him down, he will come on over, all right? As you receive your blessing, I invite you to really allow yourself to listen to the words closely and take them all in, because their message is always true, and it is meant especially for you. And before I say go and we begin here, I'm going to invite our folks on Zoom to pay close attention so that I can bequeath this blessing unto you. You are made of stardust. Born of the infinite creativity of the universe, you are whole, holy, good, and so loved. And we rejoice and give thanks that you are here in this world, shining your light. And now, if we would assemble so we can pass that blessing on to each of you. around at the twinkling stardust in this room, some glittering on our foreheads and cheeks, some shining in our smiles. Look at all these lovely people here, flawed and imperfect humans, all doing what we can to be good and love the heck out of this world. We are made of stardust, immortal stardust. We are the universe experiencing love with a capital L. And as we look at one another, let us rejoice and give thanks for this heavenly view.
Rise if you're able, stand in body or spirit, stay as you're comfortable, and join us in singing Blue Boat Home, hymn number 1064.
Standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry heart can sing. I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Blue
kindness abound like hydrogen, which fuels every star and is the most plentiful element in the universe. May your generosity refresh like oxygen, which burns in every candle flame, falls in every raindrop, and is exhaled in the great slow sigh of every forest. May your love endure like bismuth, which could radiate energy for 20 billion years and only be half depleted, but whose iridescent crystals are safe enough to hold. And may your strength persist like carbon, which has enabled all life our solar system knows, has known, or will ever know, from diplodocus to dandelions, from blue-green algae to blue whales, and from the katydids that cling to branches and chirrup through the night, to the kale that clings to life aboard the International Space Station and hurtles through the silent, endless night of space. Now I extinguish the chalice, but not the love we all hold at our center. Thank you, everyone. Before we go and break for coffee and potluck, I just wanted to let you know everybody is invited to stay. And if you're a visitor, we'd love to have you stay, especially so we can get to know you. Before we break, though, I want to remind everyone we have the volunteer training for the program for children and youth, and which begins about noon during the potluck. So we're just going to grab ourselves a little area up front here. And those of you who'd like to listen, and you're welcome to, whether or not you've signed up. We'd love to have you. Marlene, yeah.
We also have the Exploring Membership class during potluck. Glenn and I will be giving that. I know there are at least 5 of you who have signed up for that class, but anyone else that wants to join us is welcome. And please let those folks go through the potline first.
Yeah. All right. So anybody who's planning to do that, just announce. I'm first in line. I'm butting in front. All right. The Creativity Circle begins on Monday, 10/14 at 7 p.m. right here. We're going to have our own special sense of creativity just waiting to be recognized and cultivated. So you can join us as together all the ways creativity can encourage spiritual growth. If you've ever said, "Oh, I am not creative," this group is for you. Come discover how creative you really are. So you want to see Beth Woodroy or Brenna Kufferman for more information. I don't think either one of them is here today, but reach out to them on the church directory and you can find them. Sharing table, our last date for this year is Saturday, November 2nd. Please consider making a few pounds of goulash. The recipe will be provided to you, and you can contact Maureen North, or you can also probably ask Trish since Maureen's not here because you've done this before. So Trish is right there so you can talk to her. And finally, UCB Pride and Harford County NAACP are co-sponsoring a free screening of the documentary The New Black at the Towson University branch, which is right here in Harford County over at HCC. And it's this Tuesday, October 15th at 5:30 p.m. It's a documentary that explores different perspectives within Maryland's African American community on the issues of marriage equality, homophobia in the Black church, and LGBTQIA+ rights. That's all I have. It's time for potluck.